People who left their partner the day of the wedding. What happened? 1. My brother went to this engagement party. Everything was great. Nothing out of the ordinary. Wedding comes around 3 months later. He shows up, and it's a totally different bride. Same groom, same date, same invite. Just new bride. No explanation. 2. My wife's family has a story from the early 1900s, in which a bride and groom had courted mostly by mail. The day of the wedding, bride got cold feet. The family was trying to figure out what to do when the bride's sister piped up and said, "I'll marry him." The groom thought about it for a few minutes and decided he was in. The wedding proceeded as if nothing had happened, and they allegedly were married 50+ years and produced a big happy family. 3. Bride's best friend decided the wedding was the perfect time to announce that bride was secretly pregnant. Problem is, groom was religious and saving himself for marriage, and bride agreed to it. They hadn't had sex before. Turns out she had been cheating for most of the relationship. Because of this, I believe she planned on waiting until after they had sex and telling him the child was his. Turned into a very interesting situation where groom's parents were very upset, thinking he broke his promise of abstinence to them. Bride's parents were celebrating the pregnancy. Bride and groom both had looks of absolute horror. 4. My friend did this like 20-some years ago. She was engaged to a guy from a very well-off family. The wedding was in California, but they were living in Seattle. Very posh, very expensive. But the mill was always a bitch to her. Right at the beginning of the reception, the mill came up and said some nasty things to her in whisper, thinking she would just take it again. She lost it. Families got involved, and she ended up on a plane back to the PNW that night. Her family had already started moving her things out of the apartment that evening. Never spoke to him again. 5. Not me, but my best friend. I was set to be his best man at his wedding. While I was organizing his bachelor party, I reached out to some of our old friends to invite them. One of them, who showed up, we had Dan and a postie really seen in like 10 years. Been asked who he was getting married to, and I told him. And he was just silent for a minute, and said, end quote, "Bro, I literally just hooked up with her a couple weeks ago." End quote. I thought it was a joke, but he sent me a pic. Hardest fucking conversation I have ever had to have, and it was only like 12 hours to the wedding.